Uh, s no, no. Be best just to put these on first. Make sure they're on nice and firm. I don't want to hear what's about to happen. Konami. I'm William. I'm supposed to be making sure no bad company names come out anywhere on the internet. And we just tracked down a man who just said the K word. We're gonna storm the house. We're gonna evict him, eviscerate him, and this channel of his is done. Do you get it? We're gonna take him down. Get him. Got a knock on the door. Hello? Who's that? Got you now. I've got you. You've been caught in the act. You brought Disney games being bad. You praised Sega. Now you brought up Konami. Yes, I did. And when I brought up Disney games being bad, I brought up one that was meant to be bad. And when I brought up Sega, why is praising Sega such a bad thing? And why is mentioning Konami such a bad thing? Because I don't want to hear it. My voice keeps changing because it's just how angry you're making me. You're coming with me. Yeah, with the seagulls. You're coming with me. Ah! Where am I? Hear noises. Strange sounds. A lot of light. Green substance coating the ground and a brown earth. What is it? I think I've been banished to the outside world. Hey guys, this is the X-Boy here, and after being dragged out of the house by some weirdo, we had a conversation during the intro. It was a quick 10 seconds. He apparently didn't want to hear a word from me, he just wanted to make sure that his point got across. But since then, I've been told that I can't enter the building until this review's done. So I thought I'd make the most of it and explore what this outside world was really all about, and I have to say it's not that bad. Yeah, the grass is coarse and rough and gets all over the place when you're standing in bad places, but all in all, you can actually get used to it. But I do miss lying down and being counterproductive, so we're going to start the review now. So best of luck with that. Anyway, how does the game start, you might be asking? Well, it starts pretty simple. You fight a couple soldiers at the start, no big deal. They're armed with guns and swords, but, I mean, you're playing as right, and you've dealt with that sort of thing before, so you just hack and slash your way through them, and then all of a sudden, this happens. You saw that correctly. Metal Gear Ray just jumped out of the ocean and blasted a giant plasma cannon right through a building and basically disintegrated the whole thing. Go fight it. And after that, I kid you not, Raiden catches the blade tail of Metal Gear Ray and manages to flip the thing over himself just with sheer arm power. After that, you have a brief chase with Sundowner, who beforehand had captured the Prime Minister, and once you get to the rooftop, who appears? Is it a new enemy? Is it a wave of enemies? No! It's still Metal Gear Ray. And during this fight, how do you think it ends? A couple slashes and that? No. Raiden jumps from missile to missile the Metal Gear Ray is firing at him, and once he gets there, he the other arm of the Metal Gear Ray, and just when he thinks it's beaten, the Metal Gear Ray reaches out with its mouth and grabs Raiden, tossing him to a wall. Then the game decides the laws of gravity are completely meaningless, as Raiden then proceeds to run down a fallen building, and while also dodging missiles and lasers, and then, right when that happens, he jumps down onto the Metal Gear Ray and splits it in half by running down the entire thing with his sword stabbed right into the Ray as he splits it in half. I would talk about the other boss fights, but if I did that, we'd be here forever. So, let's move on to gameplay. Light attacks and heavy attacks are done by pressing X and Y on the controller, and blade mode, which again allows you to use full control of the sword, is done by holding LT and either pressing the colored buttons or by moving the right analog stick to pick the direction, and move the left stick to turn Raiden in case an enemy moves behind you or to the side and vice versa. Now you might think, oh, that sounds really basic, but then it can come in handy when basically most of the environment around you is destructible, and it also allows for Raiden to use a little technique called the Zandatsu, where he can cut through an enemy and take what would appear to be their spine, crush it in his hands, and heal, as well as regain the ability to use his Zandatsu in blade mode effectively. So again, if I talked about the other bosses, we'd be here forever because just how much of a spectacle each of them are. You've got Monsoon, who basically can dismember himself without... It's not got gory imagery, but he's able to basically dodge any sword attacks by splitting himself to bits. That is also where the Jack the Ripper mode comes into play, which drastically boosts attack power and speed, and defense at the cost of the power used for the Zandatsu. Also, after beating 3 of the bosses, being Monsoon, Mistral, and Sundowner, you gain sub-weapons, which can range from Mistral's polearms, Monsoon's size, and Sundowner's scissor swords? We're going to refer to them as scissor swords. Once they're all out of the way, you drive down to the desert on your way to find Senator Armstrong, but you're stopped by a familiar face, Jetstream Sam. And then after Sam's beaten, ex-boss and new canine companion Wolf takes Jetstream Sam's sword, and you proceed to face Senator Armstrong and the Metal Gear Excelsis. And once the fight with the Excelsis and Armstrong's beaten, little cutscene plays and then roll credits. And I was going to leave this till later, but if you have a look at the soundtrack, have a listen to it. It is basically one of the best soundtracks I've heard for a game ever. The concept of a dynamic soundtrack to me is just fantastic, and the way this game handles it, phenomenal. When you're doing a boss fight, you could go from the instrumental version of the boss theme, and when you go into the quick time event, and when like stuff really starts to go down, the vocals will pop in, and Jesus, whenever that happens, it's just, ooh, adrenaline pumping. There, finally, the review's done. We can get back, right? We're on our way. We're going to see if we're allowed there. I don't think that guy's going to be barricading the doors again, but he was when I left, so best of luck to me there. I don't have any plans at the minute, so once I get back, it's essentially just going to be being extremely counterproductive and awaiting this channel's death. So I suppose one way to keep the channel alive would be maybe if you comment below what the next game I could review is, or any other video ideas like top 10s and that. Yes, I will be that unoriginal just to be productive. But for now, that's going to be it. So, X-Boy signing out.